Good day, everyone. Today, I will be discussing the relay CA and its role in protecting electrical systems, particularly in generators from internal faults. We will cover its function, characteristics, and the meaning behind its operational graph. Let's begin with an overview of generator differential relays. So, these are relays that are percentage differential types. The magnitude of the differential current required to operate them increases as the external fault current increases. So these are protection devices designed to detect internal faults within a generator. They operate based on the principle of percentage differential protection, where the relay compares the incoming and outgoing currents. If there's an imbalance due to a fault, differential current flows through the relay's operating coil, triggering the protection mechanism. Now, how does the relay CA work? For external faults, when a fault occurs outside the protected zone, the relay's restraining coil generates a torque that keeps the relay contacts open, preventing unnecessary tripping. Then for internal faults, if a fault happens inside the generator, the secondary currents become unbalanced, creating a differential current. This current overcomes the restraining torque, closing the relay contacts and isolating the fault. In the type CA inverse timing relay, the percentage is constant. So these are the basic connection for our relay in under normal conditions. Current passes through the transformers, then through the relay restraining coils, which are R1 and R2, and back to the current transformers. Then the current in the relay restraining coils produces a restraining or contact opening torque. Then an internal fault in the protected machine will unbalance the secondary currents, forcing a differential current IO through the relay operating coil. O, the amount of differential or operating current required to overcome the restraining torque and close the relay contacts is a fixed percentage of the smaller restraining current. Now, let's focus on the graph. The x-axis represents the restraining currents, which is the current flowing through the relay's restraining coil. Then the y-axis shows the operating current, which is the differential current needed to close the relay contacts. So as you can see, the relay operates based on a constant percentage differential. This means that the required operating current is always a fixed percentage of the restraining current. So for low fault current, if the restraining current is low, the operating current required to trip the relay is also low. But for a high fault current, as the restraining current increases due to higher external fault current, the operating current required also increases proportionally. Then the curve shows that the relay operates when the operating coil amperes exceed the value on the curve. So for example, if the smaller restraint current is 20 amperes, the relay will trip when the operating current reaches around 3.5 or behind the curve. Now, look at the second graph. This graph represents the 25% restraint characteristic curve, which means a higher percentage of the restraint current is required to operate the relay. The difference from the first curve is that the operating coil current required to trip the relay is higher compared to the 10% curve. So, for example, at 20 amperes of restraint current, the relay now requires around 7 amperes of operating current to trip instead of 3.5 amperes. So the significance in higher restraint settings like this 25% are used to avoid false tripping in the presence of minor imbalances such as those caused by CT errors or inrush currents during startup, while in lower restraint settings or 10% are more sensitive but might cause the unnecessary trips in stable conditions. Let's take a look at the key characteristics of the relay CA. So, for single phase operation with a frequency range of 25 to 60 Hz, it has SPST CC, or what we call single pole single throw contact closed, or GPST CC, or what we call double pole single throw contact close contacts. So it is a household in a FT21 flexitest case and features an inverse time characteristic, meaning the tripping time decreases as the fault current increases. So this curve shows the inverse time characteristics of 10% and 25%. The horizontal axis represents the, the operating coil current, while the vertical axis shows the time to trip in seconds. As the current increases, so as the current increases, the relay trips faster. So this is an inverse time characteristic. So for the same current, the 10% relay generally trips faster than the 25% relay, indicating its suitability for more sensitivity and sensitive applications. So for example, in a residential setting with smaller loads, a 10% relay would ensure quick disconnection during a fault to protect sensitive electronics. In contrast, a 25% relay could be used in factories where machines like conveyor belts take longer to stop. In such cases, a small delay in the relay's response is okay and it won't cause problems. Then, this graph shows typically saturation curves. So, for a 10% relay and a 25% relay, these curves relate the voltage in y-axis and the current in x-axis passing through the relay. In the case 1 and case 2, it represents different test conditions for the relays. As illustrated in the diagram, for the 10% relay, the voltage increases linearly with the current up to a certain point behind which saturation effects can appear. Then the 25% relay, required higher current to reach the same voltage levels, indicating its design for higher burden or different applications. So, for example, imagine a relay used in an industrial setting to protect a transformer. A 10% relay might be used in scenarios where the load is small and precise detection is critical. So, on the other hand, a 25% relay could handle heavier loads such as large motors. Then, these graphs illustrate the burden voltage and phase angle characteristics for 10% CA relays and 25% CA relays as functions of, of current. As you can see, the voltage burden increases as the current increases through the relay. Then the phase angle represents the lag of the burden voltage relative to the current. Then a high angle indicates more inductive behavior, or while lower angle shows resistive characteristics. So, for example, suppose you're designing a protection scheme for a long transmission line with high inductance. Then the 25% relay, which handles higher phase lag and burden, might be more suitable. Then for a smaller power system, might only need the 10% relay because it handles less load. Next, let's talk about the settings for relay CA. So no setting is required for the percentage differential unit except the setting of the time dial, which should be on the number 1 position. So the percentage differential unit doesn't require a specific setting, making it easy to figure. And the only adjustments is the time dial, which should typically be set to position 1 for optimal performance. Then I conclude that each relay is designed for a specific sensitivity, and once the correct relay is chosen for a given application, no adjustment is necessary. If for some reason adjustment becomes necessary, the spring tension controlling minimum operating current may be changed a little. So, in general, for a generator protection, a study of the current transformer characteristic curves under short circuit conditions should indicate whether the high sensitivity 10% or the low sensitivity 25% relay should be used. The 25% relay should be used if AC saturation causes more than 1% ratio error in either set of current transformers. So that's all. Thank you.